Hey guys, what's going on? It's Movies for Brains with my cup of coffee. I know it's like 1 in the afternoon, but I'm still drinking coffee, sue me. Anyway, so this is going to be an update video. I just had a birthday, so I'm going to go over everything that I've gotten during and around my birthday. And I'll sort of give a little talk up on each one, a little review, kind of go on. So I hope everybody's being safe with the corona and all that. Everybody, we got to work together, and let's try not to let Republicans kill us. Anyhow, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this started. And this will probably be pretty long. I'm going to try to get the trailers for each movie after I talk about them, although I'm not exactly sure I'm going to be able to do it. So if they don't appear, just know that I went ahead and posted it without being able to figure out how to do it. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get started here. So the first film I got, Criterion Collection of House of Games, this is a David Mamet film. It's the first film he directed. It's from 1987. Joe Mantegna. So it's kind of like a psychological thriller, sort of deception type deal. So this woman, she has this. She's a therapist. She has this client who owes this loan shark a lot of money. Get closer, and she tries to go help him out by going to see Joe Mantegna, who is the loan shark, and kind of things kind of go from there. She gets deeper and deeper into his like world of lies and deceit, and she kind of starts to see how he does all of his stuff, and kind of goes from there. A lot of twists and turns in this. This is a film you will probably have to see it more than once to get everything in it, but that's pretty typical of David Mamet. I really love almost every David Mamet film I've ever seen. Glengarry Glen Ross is like one of my all-time favorite films. I love Red Belt. I love Spartan. Spartan. Yeah, and with Val Kilmer. R.I.P. He's not dead, but he might as well be. Anyhow, and there's the dog. Anyway, I suggest checking it out, man. 1987 House of Games.
David Mamet. He's got a feel for the way people talk and think and cheat and love. And he's got the Pulitzer Prize to prove it. Now America's most exciting writer makes his directorial debut. Join him in the House of Games.
Slowly look over my left shoulder and tell me if you see him.
Yes, he's just crossing the street.
The players.
A sucker born every minute, huh?
And two to take him.
A woman of one world.
You want to see how a true bad man plies his trade?
Yes.
Seduced by the thrill of another.
We're about to sting this guy.
I'll do it with you, please.
Discovering that danger is the ultimate high.
What is life without adventure?
A man who offers you his trust.
You gotta tell.
A tell?
You're telling me the hand that has the coin. You want to know what tell?
His confidence.
You watch this guy and tell me. Does he play with his gold ring?
And takes you
Do you want to make love with me?
for everything you've got. The game.
In or out?
Rule 1.
Don't volunteer anything.
Secrecy.
However strange things seem, keep your mouth shut.
Rule 2.
What is it you think I want?
Control.
Somebody to possess you, to take you into a new thing.
Rule 3.
I don't understand how this works.
Deception.
You keep looking for the tell.
Rule 4.
Police, don't move.
Survival.
I've got to get out of here.
Rule 5. Ignore all other rules.
We've lost $80,000 we borrowed from the mob.
I should have turned around the first moment you brought the broad.
In the House of Games, there's no one you can trust.
Who brought the damn cop?
Not even yourself. Lindsay Krause, Joe Mantegna, in David Mamet's House of Games.
Okay. excuse me. So the next film I have, I got Criterion. Most of these are going to be Criterion Collection. It's Criterion Collection edition of Lost in America. Albert Brooks. I absolutely love this film. Albert Brooks, Julie Haggerty. Great, awesome booklet in here. The cake that they make for them. So I'll give a little rundown. So basically, this is a film in which Albert Brooks, and this is, to me, this is probably the best film Albert Brooks has ever made, although I do love Mother. Anyhow, he wrote and directed it. It's about a guy who, he's very well paid. He's like an advertising executive or something, and he decides to just one day he just quits his job, and he tries to convince his wife to quit her job. She does, and they buy a Winnebago, and they just decide to go traveling across the country, and then it kind of, I don't know, it's sort of like a thinking man's vacation type thing. Like, it's a vacation-y sort of hokey kind of movie, but it's kind of sad at the same time. I don't know. The way that I describe Albert Brooks films these days he's like Woody Allen without the guilt. Take that as you will. Anyhow, but Lost in America, it came out in 1985, and it's a good, tight 90-minute watch. Pretty funny, and it'll make you think. Lost in America. You should check it out.
You're just nervous about tomorrow. You'll get the promotion, we'll move into the new house, and we'll be happy. Okay?
You should hear your voice. It just filled this room with excitement.
This is David and Linda Howard. They're happily married.
I want to have sex with you right here. Right now, right here.
And they're about to have a day
This is it.
they'll remember the rest of their lives.
David, you're fired. Fired? Oh, I'm fired!
Now, they're going to drop out
We have to touch Indians. We have to see the mountains and the prairies and the whole rest of that song.
set out to find the American dream.
Well, the movie you're basing your whole life on, Easy Rider, they had no nest egg.
They had a giant nest egg. They had all this cocaine.
And wind up lost in America.
To America, look out. Here we come.
Where do you want to go?
I don't know.
Head out on the highway.
Do you have a reservation?
Well, I just dropped out of society. I kind of live moment to moment. I really don't do reservation things anymore.
What do you think?
I think if Liberace had children, this would be their room.
Looking for adventure and whatever comes our way.
How much is left in the nest egg?
Nothing. Well, give or take 1,000.
Give or take 1,000. As the boldest experiment in advertising history, you give us our money back.
We're finished talking.
Yeah, I gotta go make it happen. Take the world in a loving embrace. Don't get in that car! Susan!
I've lost a woman. A whole woman.
Born to be wild.
That's not funny.
Born to be wild.
Any high-paying jobs in the immediate area? You wouldn't be interested in it. Well, you don't know me. I might love it. What is it?
Walk your bike. I'm warning you, walk your bike.
Dumb Frillo pad, fathead.
Come on, stop! Here we go. Hey! Kill the child!
The Geffen Company presents Albert Brooks and Julie Haggerty, Lost in America.
Great movie. You gotta see it. It's historic.
Okay, so next I have a film trilogy by Ingmar Bergman, and they're the films Through a Glass Darkly, Winterlight, and The Silence. This is a great set. I mean, Ingmar Bergman is amazing. Through a Glass Darkly is about a woman on a vacation on an island here's the booklet. And she is with her, in classic Ingmar Bergman fashion, she's there with her father, and I love this, her therapist. And she's, as you can probably imagine, not mentally well, really. Her father is a writer, and she kind of, over the course of the film, discovers that her father is basically using her mental instability for his for his professional gain. He's like writing, pieces about her and stuff, which she did not have any idea that he was doing this. And it doesn't help. Anyway, yeah, it's great. 1961, Through a Glass Darkly. Then we got Winter Light, 1963, which is great. Black and white Swedish film. So this is a film about it's about a pastor. Yeah, who basically he's approached by one of his people in his congregation, who basically says that because of the creation of the atomic bomb, he's lost faith in God. And through the course of trying to comfort the guy, the pastor starts to realize that he is also losing his faith in God. And then lastly, from the same year, 1963, we have The Silence. And this is once again going to be a film about two sisters. He's kind of obsessed with that. They're on a train, and their relationship just kind of starts to deteriorate over the course of the film. There's a little bit more to it than that, as there always is. But anyway, yeah, this is pretty awesome. I have another box set of Ingmar Bergman films, but this is probably the best one I've gotten so far. But the other one has Persona in it, so and Hour of the Wolf, which are both amazing. All right. Okay, guys. So next we have Until the End of the World, Wim Wenders, which is how long this movie will last. Okay, so this is the Criterion Collection edition, obviously, once again. So this is the director's cut, which is a 2-discer, guys. The film is 287 minutes long, so it's like a 5-hour cut of the movie. I'm going to be perfectly honest here. I have not watched the entire thing yet. I've only watched about the first 2 hours of it, but I was really impressed with what I saw. Wim Wenders is an interesting director. He does a lot of interesting kind of like sci-fi stuff. So this film, it's really difficult to explain because the story of it is just so vast. But it seems to be about a woman who she's chasing after William Hurt for some reason, and that's about it. She just chases William Hurt. It like just all over Germany and France and America. I'm not exactly sure why. I don't know. It's all very mythical and strange. Another interesting thing about this film. So this film's from 1991, and it's a dystopian futuristic film, and it has a lot of technology in it that's like old news now. Like there's a lot of scenes where people are like talking on like video phones, and that's supposed to be like a big deal. And I don't know. It's very. I guess one of the things. I mean, it's cool and all that it was like set in that futuristic society, I guess, but I didn't really understand why. Like, you could have told this entire movie without that aspect in it, and it still would have made sense. So I'm not exactly sure why he did that. I don't know. Wim Wenders, I go back and forth on him. A lot of his stuff I like, and some of his stuff is eh. I saw another film of his years and years ago called The End of Violence, and I absolutely hated it. It was like one of the worst film experiences I have ever had in my life. So I don't. He tends to kind of get lost up his own ass, I think. But anyway, the Until the End of the World, you should check it out. I really like what I've seen. I'll do a full review of this. The review, I'll try not to make it 5 hours long. But anyhow.
Santa Maria, Santa Teresa, Santa Ana.
1999 was the year the Indian nuclear satellite went out of control. No one knew where it might land. The whole world was alarmed. Claire couldn't care less.
Can I help you?
Yeah, it's my eyes.
You have sad eyes.
I'm not a sad man, though.
There's a guy looking for you.
Yeah, I know.
He's got a gun. What's he after?
He wants to kill me.
What for?
That camera takes pictures that blind people can see.
I know you stole it.
His real name is Farber, Sam Farber.
Finder's fee, $500,000.
And would you take me out of here?
Where is Sam Farber now?
It's the end of the world. A man is placed upon the steps. The baby cries and high above.
This may startle you.
What's he doing?
He's trying to record his own dreams.
I shouldn't be saying this. Then it's one a person and the other sitting as you step by a window. Henry. Step it on the road.
1999 was the year the Indian nuclear satellite went out of control. It soared above the ozone layer like a lethal bird of prey. Claire couldn't care less.
Call all angels. Call all angels. Walk me through this one. Don't leave me alone. Call all angels. Call all angels. Return.
Okay, next we have Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, and this is the Criterion. Yes, there's a Criterion Collection edition of this movie. It's double disc, great booklet in there. I have watched this. This movie is insane. 1970. So this movie, one of the pieces of trivia that pretty much everyone knows is that Roger Ebert wrote it. He wrote the script to it's the only film he ever wrote. Yes, that Roger Ebert. And it's insane. And it's directed by Russ Meyer, the late great Russ Meyer. I think he's late. I'm not sure. Anyhow, so this film is very 1970. It has you got your silly dancing. You got your rock and roll. You got your parents not liking the rock and roll. You got your LSD. You got, and of course, a lot of nudity. It's pretty good. The film sort of loses, it kind of drags a little bit in the middle, but if you can actually make it through, excuse me, the entire movie, it really pays off because like the last 20 minutes of this movie are insane. I can't recommend it enough. I absolutely loved it. I will probably watch it again. Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
Recently, 20th Century Fox had two very heavy ideas. First, make a film called Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. Second, get Russ Meyer to write, produce, and direct it. You'll meet three girls, young, beautiful, talented, a tight trio that was the heart and soul of a rock group. Life was sweet, man, but not enough. The whole world was out there just waiting, and the beat inside pushed them to where it's happening. Hollywood, USA. Yeah, it happened all right. They got hooked on a non-stop merry-go-round where the only ticket you need is success. Be a winner, man, or forget it. When they made that first party, it was like too late. The whole thing was moving, reaching out, and they dug it. Whites, yellows, and reds were more than just colors, man. They were it. The magic dream pills. The chicks were wild and groovy. The studs were cool and cruel. The eyes so warm, the smile so friendly. But watch the teeth. They bite deep. Faces, so many faces, calling, begging, help me, love me, save me. Don't listen. If you hear them, you've had it. Come on, open your mouth wider. Here, taste. Life, man, life. Like it? Hell no, tough. It's a one-way trip all the way down. One little girl turns her back on truth and love. She'll have to make it with pain and eyes that cry rivers. The second finds her heart in the arms of another chick. Don't look for evil in your brother's eye. The third bird finds her man. It's good, very good, but she almost blew it before she'll learn that simple truth. The boys are here, too. One so sure that love was enough. It isn't. You gotta fight for it, or it'll just get up and walk on out. Another cat's hungry. Bread and chicks. Make 'em pay. Love is free, but sex isn't. Don't look back. You won't like the view. And what about you, man? What's your thing? You talk weird. What do all those words mean? Who are you? Don't look at me, man. You're not real. It's all here. Love, rape, murder, dope, grass, abortion, suicide. Something for everybody. Now hold it, man. Don't close your mind. This is what living is all about. The people who make Beyond the Valley of the Dolls come alive are the largest introduction of fresh young talent ever presented in a major motion picture. Beyond the Valley of the Dolls is not a sequel. There's never been anything like it before. If you've been waiting for something new, waiting for a film to shake you into the freaked-out, mind-blowing scene of right now, then come and see it, man, and find out why it's called Beyond the Valley of the Dolls from 20th Century Fox.
Oh. All right, so next I have Spookies. So Spookies, this is pretty cool. It's the Blu-ray edition, has a lot of extra features on it. This is a film that I did not even know existed until I saw another fellow YouTuber review it. And the story to this film is kind of interesting. It's a movie that apparently almost never even got finished. I don't know, they started making it and there was some creative differences or something, or they ran out of money or something like that. And they absolutely they'd already made like 2/3 of the movie. So basically the studio just took it over and finished it, and it shows. This movie is insane. It's like I guess a haunted house movie, but it really in the end is just a huge 80s mess of a film. I don't even know. I don't know. I don't even know what is really. I mean, I don't know how to explain this film. The movie exploding skeletons and farting zombies. That's the best way I can explain it. Yes, you heard that right. There are exploding skeletons and farting zombies. The farting zombie scene. I mean, you can't. It has to be one of the best scenes in all of cinema. I also really love the spider scene. There's like a scene where a lady like totally transforms into a spider. The only thing that really saves this movie are the special effects, because you can't beat those 80s practical effects. The movie would be unwatchable if it didn't have those in it. I can't really say that this movie is actually about anything, but you totally, if you don't like this movie, I'm sorry, you're just wrong. Yeah, Spookies.
That's weird. No name.
Happy birthday, Billy.
Megan. It's spooky as hell inside.
Okay, next we have Eating Raoul. Once again, the Criterion Collection edition. This is really great. I have not seen this film in a very, very long time. So there's the disc. Eating Raoul is pretty awesome. This is so the fold-out is like a menu, which is pretty funny. This sort of was funny to me because the name of their Big Weenie. Wait a minute. Whoops. Big Weenies are better. So this is a film. What year we got going on here? 1982. Okay, yeah. So it's got Paul Bartel. Oh my gosh. There's the dog again. All right. So this is a film. It's directed by Paul Bartel, stars Paul Bartel, and so it's about a married couple who are like they have like a swingers party that like happens in their apartment, and just sort of this like weird sort of series of events happen, and they want to open a restaurant. That's like part of the thing of the movie. But Paul Bartel and Mary Warnov, they're both great. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, Eating Raoul. You should check. It's really funny. I haven't watched all of it yet. I've only watched about the first half of it, but it's really great.
Meet Paul and Mary Bland.
Hey, you two live in the building. You must swing, right?
Wrong. Good night. We're so lucky to have found each other.
A typical American couple.
I know. Good night, dear.
Sweet dreams.
With a typical American dream. And typical American problems.
You are through at Clay Liquor. Mr. Leach, I'm sure the bank has nothing to worry about. It's going to get everything that's coming to it.
The bank wants to see what it's getting into.
With the Blands, life was just a rat race.
A cartoon mouse.
Oh, great. Trigger likes you already.
Oh, we like B&D, but we don't like S&M. We met at the A&P.
But they found a way to beat it. Until
Mr. Raul Mendoza, como está usted?
they met a hot-blooded, emotional, crazy Chicano.
I'm a hot-blooded, emotional, crazy Chicano.
Eating Raoul. Is it a thriller? Is it a romance?
This was very wrong.
Is it a tragedy?
Excuse me. May I sit down?
Is it a comedy?
Yes, but not the type that you're used to.
Eating Raoul, rated R.
Okay, next I have Polyester, also Criterion Collection edition. This is really an awesome movie. I just watched it last night. I hadn't seen it in a really, really long time. Awesome thing about this release, it comes with the Odorama card, and I did watch it with the Odorama card. It's gimmicky, but it does give a new element to the film. So I don't know if you've seen Polyester. I'm a big John Waters fan. I like his stuff a lot. This is like Vintage Divine, 1981. You know, she plays this housewife who has an unusual sense of smell. She can smell like really well. And it's just kind of about her life and about she has like this POS husband who like owns a like a rated X a movie house, and she her daughter and son are both like real strange. I don't know, and has Tab Hunter who also sings the theme song, and yeah, this is great. John Waters, I this is probably one of his earliest ones that I like. Of course, I like Pink Flamingos and Multiple Maniacs and all that. But this is, I think, I don't even own. See, this is like, I have this, and I have Serial Mom, and one other film of his, but I can't even remember what it is right now. Oh, Hairspray. That's what it is. All right. Yeah.
I'll be quite blunt with you, Cuddles. I think my marriage is on the rocks.
You'll never get a penny out of me, you fat hunk of cellulite.
You'll be ready for the back seat in a minute.
I quit school today, and I'm gonna get me a job as a go-go girl.
You crazy cracker! I cannot take another heartbreak. I just cannot take it.
Anybody home?
Oh, God. But I don't even know your name.
It's Todd, honey.
Todd?
Todd tomorrow.
I got a date with an angel.
Read my lips. I love you.
I love you too, my darling.
Then let's make love, you sweet little thing.
French provincial. They do their best to stay neutral. Expressionless.
Okay, so next is My Dinner with Andre, also the Criterion. Now, actually, Criterion Collection, I actually already had this movie, but I went ahead and got the special edition of it because I love it so much. This is also 1981. These are all from the 80s or like the 70s. Louis Malle, My Dinner with Andre, is the director. Once again, a great booklet there. So this is the infamous art film that's literally just two guys talking. That's I mean, nothing action-wise happens. They sit at a table and they talk a lot about like life and sort of like midlife crisis. So basically, what happens is the first guy, Wallace Shawn, who's ultimately playing himself, Wally, is an actor, and he goes to meet his friend Andre, who is, oh man, what's that guy's last name? Andre Gregory, yeah, and he just sort of talks about like going to all these weird places and sort of he's kind of gone on like a midlife crisis search for himself type deal. But all of that story is told completely through words. There's no like flashback or anything. It's literally just two guys talking to each other. So that's like the entire first half of the movie is basically just Andre Gregory just kind of explaining all this stuff that he's done. He like goes to Tibet and he like brings home this monk and talks about like the monk lived with their family for a while and all this like crazy stuff that he did. I don't know. He does all sorts of like rituals and stuff. And then the other half of the movie is basically Wallace Shawn sort of responding to him, kind of going through all this stuff. And it's interesting because he doesn't agree entirely with everything that Andre does. It's a cool film. They based this entire movie. They wrote the script together based on like recorded conversations that they had with each other late at night, and the conversations just kept getting more and more interesting. And I think eventually they both just said we should just make this into a script. Yeah, so that's My Dinner with Andre, 1981, and yeah, once again, my all-time favorite films, much to my wife's dismay. But all right, yeah, we're moving on.
You ready for your order, gentlemen?
And I felt these pieces of wood being put on me. I mean, I cannot tell you, Wally, what I was going through. And then the stretcher was lowered into the grave, and then this wood was put on me, and then my valuables were put on me in my hands, and they'd taken, a kind of sheet or canvas, and they'd stretched about this much above my head, and then they shoveled dirt into the grave, so that I really had the feeling of being buried alive.
I mean, is Mount Everest more real than New York? I mean, isn't New York real? I mean, you see, I think if you could become fully aware of what existed in the cigar store next door to this restaurant, I think it would just blow your brains out. I mean, isn't there just as much reality to be perceived in the cigar store as there is on Mount Everest? I mean, what do you think? You see, I think that not only is there nothing more real about Mount Everest, I think there's nothing that different in a certain way. I mean, because reality is uniform in a way, so that if your perceptions are, if your own mechanism is operating correctly, it would become irrelevant to go to Mount Everest and sort of absurd because, of course, on some level, obviously it's very different from a cigar store on 7th Avenue. But
Well, I agree with you, Wally. But the problem is that people can't see the cigar store now. Things don't affect people the way they used to. It may very well be that 10 years from now, people will pay $10,000 in cash to be castrated just in order to be affected by something.
Okay, so next we got Brazil, 1985. This is a dystopian masterpiece, Brazil. Jonathan Pryce, of course, he's like a... so this movie, it's very difficult to explain. It's like if Monty Python had made 1984, it would be this movie. That's kind of like the elevator pitch of the movie, I suppose. Yeah, he tries to, I don't know, some sort of like mistake I'm going to be perfectly honest. I've seen this movie numerous times, and I'm still not entirely sure I understand what it's about. but I think that's purposeful. It's kind of difficult to explain. It's about this guy who's like excuse me. He's an office worker, and basically what happens is his office makes a mistake. He doesn't want to get blamed for the mistake. And then it kind of becomes this weird, like, catch-22 of, like, the only way he can access the mistake is by going up a level. But the only way he can go up a level is to basically apply for a job that he doesn't even want. And it just kind of goes on from there. It gets more and more ridiculous. Jonathan Pryce is great. And it has... one of the Pythons is in it. I think it's Graham Chapman. Terry Gilliam, of course, directed it, and this once again is a director's cut. It's like 142 minutes long. So, yeah, Brazil. Yeah, really good. Okay, next we have Haxan, and this is a silent film from 1922. Haxan, film by Benjamin Christensen. So this is an interesting film. It's a documentary, quote unquote, about the history of witchcraft. Um, it's pretty cool. It's one of the first. I won't say it's like one of the first documentaries because that's everyone knows that that's not true. That would be Nanook of the North, but it's one of the first documentary type films ever made. And there's the inside art. It's weird because it kind of combines a lot of real life, like church history, with just completely made up um, information. And it kind of goes back and forth between, they have like, cut out pictures of like books, texts about, religious stuff, and then actual filmed like scenes that they're obviously just making up. But I would definitely suggest another interesting thing about this film is that there's two cuts of it on here. So this film was it was kind of lost for a long time, and then it was rediscovered in like the late '60s, and they started showing it in art houses, but they recut it and they put narration on it with William Burroughs. So there's also the William Burroughs cut of the film, but I prefer the original film only because the William Burroughs one has like 20 minutes of the film cut from it. I'm not exactly sure why. I would imagine it was probably because it was shown with a lot of double features, so they probably just cut it down so it wouldn't take up so much time, but so they could show the other movie. But Haxan. I really enjoyed this film. It's really strange, but yeah, you should give it a watch if you can get it. All right, next up is Fantastic Planet. This is a French film from 1973. It's completely animated. This film, I feel like, is probably pretty well known. I had actually never seen it before I got this. I'd heard of it. Like, I knew what it was. I had just never actually seen it before. It's pretty trippy, man. Pretty trippy. It's I can't even really describe this film. It's real like trippy, almost like Yellow Submarine type ish. The entire thing is in French. It's like these large blue people, and they have like so they're like huge, and they keep humans as pets type deal, and it sort of becomes like one of those, it was one of those trippy movies where like, man, you have to think about how we treat other people or things or whatever. I just choose to just sort of sit back, and it's definitely a film that you should experience and not think too much about, I think.
Fantastic Planet. Special Grand Prize, Cannes Film Festival. Fascinating. A fine adventure story. Brilliant. I recommend it. Spellbinding science fiction. Fantastic Planet.
Okay, next up is Salesman, also the Criterion Collection, 1969. So this is a documentary about door-to-door Bible salesmen. And it's really good. Kind of like sad and funny and weird, kind of all at the same time. Like you get footage of these guys like totally manipulating people into buying Bibles, and then like it's really strange to see like the footage of them, selling to people, and then the footage of them like with each other later on, and you get to see like what like sharks and kind of like deceitful animals they are. This is a film, it made me think, like when I watched it, I wondered if David Mamet saw this and like it influenced him to write Glengarry Glen Ross, because there's so much of it that's like so similar to Glengarry Glen Ross. Anybody seen that movie? You should comment and let me know, because I think that would be interesting. Yeah. Okay, next, Criterion Collection of Night on Earth. This is going to be Jim Jarmusch film. Probably one of my favorite Jim Jarmusch films. I don't love everything that he's done, but I like most of his stuff. Night on Earth. So this is like a film. I don't know what his obsession with cab drivers is, but the whole film is about cabbies in all different parts of the world. So there's like 4 different sections, and the deal is that it's like the same 30 minutes basically being shown, one after the other in different parts. So there's like a New York one, an LA one, Paris one, and I think it's Bangladesh. But anyway, yeah, it's great. Winona Ryder is in it, and Roberto Benigni is in it. And it's just kind of like a slice of life type movie. I mean, it's Jim Jarmusch, so essentially nothing really happens. But it's a nice little kind of sleeper.
You go to Brooklyn?
Hello, how are you?
Maksaville asiakkaalle keskellä yötä. Ole vähän iljakin, saa ajaa. Sä tässä on idiootti. Lopettakaa nyt, saatana nuijat, vai haluatte sitten kävellä?
Io rimasi incantato.
E vai, tatatum, quanto si dura ore? On en a toujours une qui me fera pas chier.
Bien vu, connard, t'as failli m'écraser.
Dites, les aveugles, ils ne portent pas des lunettes noires d'habitude?
Ah ouais? Ah, je savais pas, j'ai jamais vu d'aveugle.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something. I don't always want to be a cab driver. What do you really want to be? A mechanic.
Io sono pericoloso. Io c'ho i tassi, loro c'hanno le pistole, sono pericoloso io con i tassi. Che madosca.
It's not allowed. Not allowed.
Yes, allowed. It's New York. Pardon.
I'm fucking the fucking problem!
Hey, you're my problem.
No, you're not fucking problem!
Now your hands gonna be cursing me out.
Fuck you, and fuck you! Try driving school, you fucking Nimrod!
I'm sorry I sound calm. I assure you I'm hysterical.
Piazza Varma, Mrs. Hall.
Helsinki.
Is somebody gonna tell me what the fuck is going on around here?
Oh, summer is gone, and I remember it best. Back in the good
Okay, so I think that's it for the Criterion Collection. Well, I don't know. For a while, but I'm on to the next ones here. These ones that I'm about to do are not. I didn't really get them for my birthday, but I do the horror pack. So these are going to be the films that came in my horror pack this month. And I have not watched. I've only watched one of them so far. All right. So the first one is Land of the Dead. I have never seen this. I know that this is like the last Romero zombie film that he made, like in the series. I heard mixed things. A lot of like Romero fans loved it, and then people who like zombie movies kind of hated it. I don't know. I know it has John Leguizamo in it, which doesn't fare well for it, but in my opinion. But Land of the Dead's pretty cool cover. It's got that kind of shiny thing on the cover, but I know unrated director's cut, Land of the Dead. I'll check it out and I'll let you know.
The world as we know it
They must be destroyed.
is no more.
Cities are under siege.
The land of the living has become
feeding up human flesh.
the land of the dead.
If these creatures ever develop the power to think, to reason,
We're all dead.
In one last outpost,
It was my ingenuity that took an old world and made it into something new.
we have survived.
Rivers protect us on two sides?
I put up the fences to make it safe.
and these fences go all the way across?
Both ways.
But if the living can adapt,
Things are changing. These guys are not just walking.
so can the dead.
It's like they're pretending to be alive.
They're mindless walking corpses. They'll never get across the river.
They're moving toward the city.
There's nothing there, man.
They're communicating. They're thinking. We're going back to see if we can help.
Trouble?
In a world where the dead are returning to life, the word trouble loses much of its meaning.
We're running out of time.
George A. Romero's Land of the Dead.
Zombies, man. They creep me out.
The next film is called Accidental Exorcist. I don't even know what this is. It's the worst title of all time. I know that. But I don't know. It appears to be a Polish film. It's some sort of an exorcism movie, obviously. Really nothing inside. But this is, I don't know anything about it. I'll try to look up the trailer, and I'll do a proper review of it.
You have a gift. You're a healer. You are a blessing to other people. No one is given that kind of a gift who is not meant to use it. Remember, you were meant for this.
The only way to give light is to burn, Richard. Ah, and you will burn.
I'm the most excited about watching is Bloodfest. So this appears to be a comedy about a group of people who go to a what do I want to say? Like a they go to a what are those things called? Like a horror movie convention. There we go. And I guess there's a guy who's like obsessed with horror films and then tries to kill them. This film, I feel like, has the biggest potential to be either really bad or really good. I try not to get my hopes up too much about these things. But Bloodfest, yeah.
My vape's dead. Perfect.
And then lastly, I got Rewind. And this is the one that I've watched already, and it was terrible. So this is like a found footage film about two guys making a found footage movie. I mean, really, at this point, you're just fucking with us. Nobody wants to watch that. I didn't even understand what was happening. Like something they were trying to film something at a haunted field or a haunted house, and all this really annoying stuff kept happening. It really just like they were having a bunch of technical issues, and then they were like this is creepy. And I was like, it just kind of seems like you don't know what you're doing. But okay. Best thing I can say about this movie is the cover art. The cover art alone made me want to watch it first because there's literally no info on it. Like, it just says rewind. That's it. It doesn't even tell you who's in it or who directed it or anything. See? Least said about that, the better.
Dude, this would be like good to use. We could say it's like a gateway. Ghosts pass through it to get into our world. Like, that's how we could start the episode.
Oh yeah, you're right, that's good.
This is perfect. What?
Chris?
Look at this. It's for you. Don't stop recording. This is gonna be sweet.
Okay, so this is, I kind of got on a kick here. So the next film I got is Fanny Hill, another Russ Meyer film. I haven't actually watched this yet. I know that this is like his period film. It's from like 1964. I think this may have actually been his first movie. But it's a double feature. It has Fanny Hill and The Phantom Gunslinger. Phantom Gunslinger I have seen years and years ago. I know that it's like a comedy Western. I don't know, but I know that it's silly. Oh, here, Gigi. Want to be in my video? Okay. All right. So.
I don't want to talk into the microphone.
Thank you.
Hello.
Okay.
So, what you doing?
But yeah, Fanny Hill. I'm excited to watch that. All right.
Let me talk to the microphone, okay?
But honey.
Dinkelspieler? Little Drusilla, my little Drusilla's godfather.
Oh, I had a figure on me once that made men stop dead in their tracks and horses bolt right away with their carriages. Marvelous Mummery Murphy, they called me then.
Look what we've done, baby! It's ruined!
Yes, I fear there's a mouse in the haystack with us. And I'm terrified of mice.
So am I. Let it go. Maybe it'll run away.
Oh, sir. Sir, I felt it move again.
Let it alone. I'm sure it has a family to run off to.
Save a girl from a fate worse than death!
By being chastised, my young maiden, can I be forgiven?
Mrs. Brown! This little rabbit in the rain.
All right, Miss Fenella. Out with your hoop and your lollipop. The General's here.
Good morning. How do you think the Giants will do in the World Series?
And what a small amount can do, a larger amount does even better. Down the hatch!
centerist, even better.
It's been great seeing you, Phil. Bye-bye, boy. Bye-bye.
So long, Three Guns.
So, what you want to do? What you doing?
I'm trying to make this video. Honey, I have all these movies to do.
Oh, okay.
I'm so going to edit this part out.
Hey!
Well, maybe not all of it. But...
This is my microphone now.
Deep baby, let me finish.
Okay.
Excuse me. Okay. Oh, Criterion Collection again. We got Blue Velvet. Criterion. This is another film that I did have already. Thank you, Gigi.
What?
I said thank you.
For what?
I don't know. Whatever it is you're doing. Back to sleep.
So, what
this
you
is
do?
Pretty cool packaging. Blue Velvet is one of my favorite films of all time. Great Lynch film. I'm not going to go too far into it. I feel like if you're watching this, you probably have seen Blue Velvet. But this is a great release. Has a lot of special features. But I'll do a review for this one later. But Blue Velvet, I will try to put that trailer on if I can find it.
A candy-colored clown they call the Sandman tiptoes to my room every night just to sprinkle stardust and to whisper, go to sleep, everything is all right. I close my eyes, then I drift away into the magic night. I softly
Now it's dark.
Are you the one that found the ear?
One name that keeps coming up is this woman singer.
The first thing I need is to get into her apartment.
I don't know if you're a detective or a pervert.
Do you like the way I feel?
I still can see blue velvet through my tears.
It's a strange world, isn't it?
Next we got From Beyond the Grave. So this is a Hammer film. It's really awesome. It's like an old school anthology. I absolutely love these movies. Peter Cushing, Dana Dors, Margaret Leighton, Donald Pleasance in this film. I really love these. These are just kind of great Halloween type, have a party, watch a bunch of them, or watch them online now, right? With a bunch of other people. I don't know if people actually do that. I always try to start watch parties and then no one ever comes to them. But anyway, From Beyond the Grave, this is really good. It's a lot of like campy fun. And some of them are kind of creepy. Yeah, that's that one.
My dad's got the goodies.
Stop.
This is where the temptations begin. Unlimited temptations.
Can I help you at all?
I'll tell you what, I'll give you 25 quid to get rid of it.
It's a deal. Each concealing a horrendous nightmare that reaches out from the dark world that lies beyond the grave.
Come in.
come in.
If you are looking for excitement, way beyond the normal, no. If you want to test your nerves beyond endurance, come beyond the mirror on the wall. Step beyond this door to the room of no return. Experience the evil with no name. Steel yourself for the visitor in the night. Every step you take brings you nearer the clutching terror from beyond the grave. Find me another.
One quick stab. Just order me.
We've got him! Where the white worms crawl from the sinner's grave, leave us forever away!
Denied me life.
Susan! Ghost, kept alive by the life essences of those who had been sacrificed to it.
Do you have the cooties? Well, she's right, I do.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Parents all have cooties. Hello. Isn't that right, B? So next. Okay, so next we got Unmasked Part 25, also from Vinegar Syndrome. I really love this movie. This is a British film, and we watched it. So this is it's basically, it's like a Jason type spoof sort of thing. And what happens is he is like killing people, of course, and he's like, they kind of start to give him a backstory, which is very interesting. He goes and sees his dad, and like his dad's like an alcoholic, and he's all depressed about that. But what happens is the Jason character falls in love with a woman, and then it kind of becomes, and that's really where like I think the most of the comedy is, which I thought was done very well. It kind of becomes like a love story, and it's almost like a romantic comedy, I guess, in a way. And then like she starts wearing a mask to make him feel better about himself, and he kind of starts going into like what low self-esteem he has because he feels like, no one can love, this killer. Yeah, man, I really enjoyed this movie a lot. Unmasked Part 25, and like that's the joke. It's like the 25th one. The film, what's interesting though is that the film actually has a different title at the beginning. The Hand of Death is actually the name that comes up when the movie starts. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. I guess in America they renamed it Unmasked Part 25. So I actually like that title better. But yes, I definitely would suggest this film. If you can, you probably have to buy it because I haven't seen it streaming anywhere. But yeah, I thought this was really solid.
Perhaps we can be friends. I'd like that, wouldn't you? Pardon me?
touch your skin. I'm pushing up a tough a wall of steel. I'm sticking up a hard feet in the dirt. I'm shoving up a cool a thing to see. I'm moving up a fast a mobile me. I'm heading up a proud head in the clouds. There are mountains in the eyes. Perfect surface. Oh, how I long to touch your skin.
You're not going to kill me, are you? Look, I understand. Everybody has a bad day now and then. Everyone's entitled to it. But killing people isn't going to solve anything.
If only there was something more. It just all seems so pointless.
Okay, next we have, once again, Criterion Collection of A Face in the Crowd. This is a really, really great film. Man, Andy Griffith, who knew? He's really good in this film. A lot of people kept saying, I didn't know he could act. Andy Griffith is a good actor. I don't know why you would say that. That's his profession, so I don't know why he wouldn't be able to act. But anyway, A Face in the Crowd. So basically, what happens? This is a film about a guy who he's a prisoner. He's found in a jail on this radio show called A Face in the Crowd, where they just go. I guess it's like a 60s version of like This American Life type thing. They go and just interview random people, and he's interviewed, and he plays music on the show, and then he becomes this like huge sensation, like media sensation, and kind of goes from there. It gets darker and darker, and he kind of discovers how much power he has over people, and he kind of becomes this like really power hungry kind of crazy guy. And it's this movie was made in 1957, and I couldn't believe how relevant it is now. I definitely suggest checking this out. It's a great film, directed by Elia Kazan. I can't suggest this movie enough. A Face in the Crowd, if you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out.
Oh, Lonesome Roads.
Look out for him. He's mean. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Andy Griffith, another sensational newcomer from Elia Kazan, who brought you Marlon Brando and James Dean and Carol Baker.
Gonna be a free man in the morning. Free man in the morning. Free man in the morning.
Loved by millions, an idol of the people.
Bye! Bye, Lucy. So long, Luther. You write to me now. I'll be thinking of you, good people.
Boy, I'm glad to shake that dump.
Look, and don't try to play the noble defender of the sanctity of marriage with me, Papa Man. I know where you've been some of those nights when Betty was waiting up for you. You know, you hit me and it'll be all over the papers as much as the people love you tonight.
You're
they can hit
fired. I'm not just an entertainer. I'm an influence, a wielder of opinion, a force. A force.
Oh, if they ever heard the way that psycho really talks.
They're mine. I own them. They think like I do. But they're even more stupid than I am. So I gotta think for them.
One of the greatest characterizations ever put on the screen in the whole history of motion pictures.
Maybe I'm just a country boy. But if the president tries to stop me, I'll flood the White House
with millions of telegrams.
Okay, so next we have The Color of Space. I'm sorry, The Color Out of Space. Jesus, can I get the name of the movie right? All right, Nicolas Cage. Everybody's been talking about this movie. I loved this. I thought this movie was awesome. Nicolas Cage is great. He's very funny in parts. Of course, it's the H.P. Lovecraft film about the farmer who the thing, crash lands on his property, and then wackiness ensues. But it's great, man. It's hokey and kind of strange, but the scary parts were like legitimately creepy. They really creeped me out. I thought this was really good. Tommy Chong is in this movie for some reason. He's great in it. He's really funny, and Nicolas Cage. I think it was interesting to see this movie, like when Richard Stanley is obviously not scared to laugh about what he was doing, because there's like just straight up like comedic parts in this movie. But I definitely say check it out. I got the kind of slip cover here. I got the 4K Ultra Edition, which I didn't mean to do because I don't have a 4K TV. But anyway, it does have the Blu-ray in there. But maybe one day I'll get one and watch it that way. But I've already watched this a couple of times. Yeah, The Color Out of Space. You should definitely check it out.
Look at this.
All those years in the big city, we finally got out. We're living the dream.
Maybe it is a dream.
Then everything just blew up. Big flash, like a pink light. Or actually, I don't even know what color it was. It wasn't like any color I'd ever seen before.
Looks like a meteorite. You mean it's radioactive? I mean, it's from space, right? Meteorites are generally no more dangerous than ordinary rocks.
How can something that big just disappear? Did you plant those?
No.
Ward, you come here for a sec.
Oh, God.
What are you doing?
It's talking to me.
Who's talking to you?
A man in the well.
It's in the static, it's in the moisture. It's in here, is out there. And what's out there is in here now.
Everything's under control.
Why are you so in denial? That thing from the meteorite changes everything around it.
It's just the color. But it burns.
Do you believe me now?
I don't know what I believe anymore. Everything's gonna be A-okay.
All right, next is The House That Jack Built. And this is Lars von Trier, obviously with Matt Dillon and Bruno Ganz. This film is amazing. I thought this film was great. It's extremely disturbing, but I mean, it's Lars von Trier, so there's a little bit more going on than that, I feel like. There's a director's cut and the theatrical cut in this release. So Matt Dillon is a serial killer in the film. And what I thought was real interesting about this movie is that Von Trier does not want you to really know anything about him. Like, you don't know who his parents are, where he comes from, what his wants, his needs are. He only shows you the parts of what he does, which is where he's, like, killing people. And then something very interesting happens at the end, which I was not expecting. I will say this, the film is mad long. It's almost like 3 hours long. But it's It's really great. If you've seen Antichrist, you kind of know what you're in for with Von Trier. I hate him. He's just a deplorable a person, but he does occasionally make pretty good films. I liked Antichrist a lot, just for like the sheer just how strange it was. But yeah, The House That Jack Built is really great. It's very stomach turn, not for the weak stomached, but if you're into that kind of thing, I definitely say that you should check it out.
Your house is a fine little house, Jack.
Are you allowed to speak along the way? I was thinking there might be rules.
Let me put it this way. Very few make it all the way without uttering a word. But do carry on merrily. Just don't believe you're going to tell me something I haven't heard before.
Oops, that was maybe a mistake.
What was maybe a mistake?
Me getting in this car with you. You might as well be a serial killer. Sorry, but you do kind of look like one.
Screaming. I definitely think that you should.
Nobody wants the help!
Take things over. Let him loose, hard to swallow.
Mind if I take a look in the van, please, sir?
I'd be a bad guy if I said no. Some people claim that the atrocities we commit in our fiction are those inner desires which we cannot commit in our controlled civilization. So they are expressed instead through our art. I don't agree. I believe heaven and hell are one and the same. The soul belongs to heaven and the body to hell. When I think about all the things I've done in my life without in any way resulting in punishment.
Next we have To the Devil, a Daughter. So this is another Hammer film. It has that guy, Christopher Lee, in it. Good Lord. And Dan Holm Elliott, of course, from Indiana Jones. This is a great film. I mean, it's Hammer, so it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But it's not really about that, right? It's all about like ambiance and the kind of general feel of it. But it's one of the better kind of like satanic rites for a nun type movies. Christopher Lee is a priest who has a daughter, and it turns out that he's like a dark priest or something, and he's trying to get her to have the devil's baby, but she's a nun. I don't. It doesn't make sense, like I said before. But it's a lot of fun. But yeah, I don't know. It's okay.
The evil power of black magic has fascinated millions of moviegoers. In 1967, Rosemary's Baby. In 1974, The Exorcist. And now, a motion picture that probes further into the mysteries of the occult that any has dared before.
98% of so-called Satanists are nothing but pathetic freaks who get their kicks out of dancing naked in freezing churchyards. I have a feeling I'm dealing with that other 2%.
Richard Widmark challenges Christopher Lee for the soul of a girl named Catherine
in the terrifying film of Dennis Wheatley's sensational bestseller, To the Devil, a Daughter.
Te adoro et te invoco.
They've got Catherine. And we've got to get her back before it's too late.
When this ceremony has been performed, I shall destroy you, John Verney.
The demons hate you, Raynor. They're waiting for you.
Catherine. You are warned. The full shock, the full satanic horror is yet to be revealed.
It's a me! Don't!
Okay, so I picked up, this is not horror related or anything, but I picked up the Tex Avery collection, Volume 1. This is really good. Tex Avery is like an amazing cartoonist. He did all these, Droopy Dog, and I think one of his most famous is Red Hot Riding Hood, which is like the Little Red Riding Hood cartoon. Of course, there it is right there on the cover. And it's like all adult or whatever. Yeah, Tex Avery. Clickbait. I haven't watched this yet. I don't even know what it is. Okay, The Exorcist 2, The Heretic. One of the worst sequels I have ever seen in my life. I had never seen this before. This was a film that came in my horror pack. It's so bad. It doesn't make any... I literally could not understand what was going on in this movie half the time. Yeah, I don't know. Less said about that, the better. Oh, I got Takashi Miike set. So this is going to be the Black Society trilogy. So it's like all of his gangster flicks kind of together. This is a really good release put out by Arrow Video. Yeah, I've watched these and they're all pretty great. Really, really bloody. I got okay, next, Blythe, the Demon of Incest. This is a really strange movie. It's like a it's a film from like the 70s. It's really, really sleazy. And it's like this guy like goes home after some war. It's a period film. It's set in like the 17th century. And he goes home to visit his sister. And you can guess where it goes from there. But anyway, this is I haven't watched all of it yet. Yeah, there's that one.
Mein Herr, die gnädige Frau ist angekommen. Bring das Pferd in den Stall.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
Die gnädige Frau ist in ihren Gemächern.
Ich weiß, Gisela, danke. Danke. war so lang. Unendlich lang.
Wunderbar. Du bist wieder bei mir. Komm, lass dich ansehen. Wir trennen uns nie wieder.
Das ist nicht möglich.
Was?
Das ist nicht möglich.
Bitte was denn?
Du bist noch schöner geworden.
These two, which are going to be their animation shorts, really, really good. These are really old. Some of them go all the way back to like 1917. So they're like really strange animation, but I really would suggest both of those. Okay, so I also got Scream Queen, this is really great. So this is a documentary about the making, basically, of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which if you're a horror fan, you might know that film as the gay one, right? And it's really, really interesting. A lot of great interviews with, Mark Patton talking about how this film, started his career and ended his career kind of at the same time. And a lot of great interviews with a lot of people he was in the movie with. It's weird because the guy who made Nightmare on Elm Street 2 always claimed that he didn't intend to make it that way, but that because the lead actor was homosexual, that's why it was the gay one. Film kind of ends with him, confronting him about that. I'm not really ruining anything by telling you that. It's still you should definitely see it if you're into Hollywood lore and
In the midst of the 1980s, no one was scarier than Freddy Krueger.
I love Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, I was obsessed, loving Freddy Krueger, loving A Nightmare on Elm Street.
But part 2 came along and it was just a strange movie.
For a lot of us, Nightmare on Elm Street 2 was our introduction to a lot of gay in that movie.
It's kind of a siren song for the queer horror community. Mark Patton's, he's a scream queen.
I wake up in the middle of the first movie that I'm the lead actor in and realize that there's a gay subtext in it.
It wasn't subtext, it was right there. This movie is the gayest thing, and we did Xanadu last month.
Some of the circumstances around the making of this film created a lot of hurt for him.
And people ask you about it, you say, no, Mark was just so gay that he ruined the movie.
The mainstream public, they weren't ready for a male scream queen. They couldn't articulate it.
I think the word is homoerotic.
That it wasn't owned as a queer film made a light shine on him that was completely inappropriate.
The film that was poised to launch his career ended up destroying it.
Mark Patton pretty much disappeared.
He was the Greta Garbo of horror.
I was not an out gay actor in Hollywood in 1985. I was a gay person, and I was living in terror.
In the 1980s, to be queer was to be this sort of diseased pariah. I think, in a way, Mark Patton paid the price for that.
It was on the page of the script, and I knew we were treading in there.
This is not a delusion that I'm having. You filmed in one of the biggest gay bars in Los Angeles.
Oh, well, was that a gay bar?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, you can play with it all you want.
I wanted to be a movie star. This movie destroyed it.
That's what made him go a little crazy.
The movie was 30 years ago, and you're still pissed off at Dave Jaskin.
You've been lying for 30 years about this.
Yeah, I never wrote, he screams like a woman.
If you don't think that this is all interconnected, then you need to do your math again.
So I got FDR, American Badass. This was I got it just because of the name. I saw it. I just came up in my suggestions. I had no idea what this movie was, really. Really nothing to look at on the inside. So it has Barry Bostwick as FDR. That Barry Bostwick from and Kevin Sorbo from Rocky Horror Picture Show and whatnot. And yes, he does have that chair at one point in the movie. This movie was pretty funny. I just felt like it was like one joke that was just going for like 90 minutes. But I don't know. There's like a lot of ridiculous stuff. He uses street slang and stuff, and he's like, the Delano's about to go fireside on these. That was like kind of funny, but the joke really starts to wear thin after about 45 minutes. Some of it was like kind of picked up near the end, but to be perfectly honest with you, I just didn't think this movie was as crazy as I thought it was going to be. There was a lot of opportunities missed. I thought they could have done like so much more with it. I give it about 3. Well, I'll probably give it about 2.5 stars out of 5. Check it out if you're like into like real silly, type stuff, but I wouldn't like repeat view it.
When the werewolf attacked you and bit your leg,
Oh, sick goblins!
it released a small stream of... You've got the polio, Frank. Does my cack still work?
I think the werewolf might have come from Germany.
Motherfucker!
Germany, Italy, Japan are joining forces.
I say we go to war! You are preaching to the gas chamber on this one.
I call this the Delano 2000. We must blast their fucking asses!
Let's get wet. How in the world are we going to storm the beaches of Normandy, take down an entire army of werewolves, and still make it to a French titty bar by last call?
I present Douglas MacArthur, Chief of Staff of the United States Army.
Dougie Mack.
This is Commander Winston Churchill.
This is General Dwight Eisenhower.
Mussolini.
Hitler. Eleanor Roosevelt.
Albert Einstein, the real jackass.
Shut the fuck up, Einstein!
Player to player, pimp to pimp, I appreciate it.
I'm a motorcycle of death. I ain't got no sidecar.
Damn you, Frank!
We have nothing to fear but Marco Polio. Fear itself. Fuck Polio.
And last but not least,
So it's time for the news now.
Mother of them all, Godzilla. So this is, I was saving this one. So this is all 15 of the films, 1954 to 1975. This is an amazing set. I mean, and I'm not going to sit here and talk to you about Godzilla. I'm not going to do that. You guys know about Godzilla. Yeah, man, great. Look at this. Oh, God. Look at this book. Look at this book. Comes with like a... Isn't that great? But these are like...
Really into movies. You can tell that.
All the Toho Studio films. But, yeah, this is great. I already had some of these, but I didn't have all of them. So shout out to my wife for getting that for me for my birthday. And okay, guys, we have come to the end. That's it. Man, this video was like an hour long. Okay, give me a thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and you guys have a good day. All right, bye.